Hey everyone, I think we're all here. I'm doing a new, there we go. I think we're on now. Welcome. It's Wonderful Wednesday. And we're going to do our stress shifter course on how to reduce stress and smile some more. So, this is a good thing, of course. How's everyone's week been going? Mine, in some ways, it's so weird. It's gone by so slow. And then in other ways, oops, get my glasses on right. In other ways, take them off. In other ways, it's gone by so fast. So I've been doing like Facebook Lives now. This is my fourth week. So I did a whole bunch of different ones, and we have them on our YouTube channel, Stress Shifter. If you look at YouTube, it's there. And I haven't gotten all the descriptions, but all the different lives. I mean, we've talked about many, many different things on how to bring down our stress and actually build up our health and our mental health and just our awareness and bring a little joy in this really chaotic world that we have. So feel free to go on to the Stress Shifter YouTube channel. Now, last week, well, every week I've been wearing different t-shirts that say different things. And as you can see today, I don't have a t-shirt on. I have my flannel shirt on. And the reason why I'm wearing my flannel shirt instead of a t-shirt is because this is called Lindsay Plaid. And my name is Lindsay, and it's actually a Scottish name. And my family has, we can trace ourselves all the way back to Scotland. And so we take a lot of pride that this is our plaid and it unifies us. And so I wanted to wear that today because sometimes when life is a little tough and you're not sure what to do and you wake up and you think, I just don't know if I want to deal with this. And you want to have that blanket or that stuffed animal. Do you guys remember that really wonderful stuffed animal you used to have when you were a little kid? My brother had a stuffed animal and he called it Woofy. And he is a colonel in the Marines now. And we had I think it was like his big birthday party, or when he became a colonel. We had a big party, and my parents dug up Woofy and actually gave a Woofy to him in case he ever gets stressed out as a colonel. And everyone laughed. Because I think everyone has a stuffed animal or a blanket or something that reminds them of feeling safe. And that's why I'm wearing my Lindsay Plaid shirt today. Hi, Wendell. Hi, Susan. Hi, Barbara. I'm wearing my Lindsay Plaid shirt because it's a shirt that makes me feel safe. It's like my woofy or, your blanket. And of course, what does it do? It generates a different feeling inside of me. And that's what the t-shirts I've been wearing, good vibes and smile, stay positive, all the different t-shirts I've been wearing. It's because when you look at them, they make you smile. Just having the act of wearing something that is pleasant, that has a color. And we have to realize that we have control of our immediate environment, meaning the clothes we wear. Or, have you taken a shower today? A lot of times people are like, oh, Lindsay, I want to talk to you and we want to talk about how to reduce the stress, and they have this fog. And I'm like, well, when's the last time you've actually taken a shower and put on like your favorite sweatshirt? And they're like, I think it's been like 3 days. Start thinking, I'm like, first thing to do is take a shower. Take a shower, brush your teeth, get yourself healthy. You know what? Put on things that make you feel good. Wear your Lindsay Plaid shirt, Find your woofy in that box and pull it out and smile at it. These are things you have control of. And these are the things we should be doing. We can't control how the wave of the virus is coming through the world or our state or even our community. But we do have control of our immediate environment, meaning how we are presenting ourselves, how are we dressing ourselves. And by changing our immediate environment into the positive instead of into the fear, then what that does is allows us to relax. So last week I talked about there's 5 ways to deal with the unknown, and having patience with yourself is so important. And that's what we talked about last Thursday. And then we also talked about seeing the bigger picture. You know, uh, it's really beautiful in California. In the bigger picture, we're flattening the curve. And that's great. Now, flattening the curve doesn't mean that the virus is going away. But in the bigger pictures, we knew that we wanted the cases to stop ratcheting up and then to flatten the curve, and then it'll be here for a while and then it'll go down. Now, we've seen other places flatten the curve before California. And so what that did is, even in a bigger picture, it gives us hope. So if you're in places in which the curve is still going up, don't get lost in your numbers. Okay, you can't control those numbers, but see the bigger picture. See that the whole world is changing and it's really starting to flatten the curve some places, which means it can happen. Find the light in the storm. Find the rainbow. See the bigger picture in the world. Don't get lost in your fear. And then we're going to get into that a lot more. And then trust yourself. So today, I wanted to give us our book right up front because this is a really great book. Hardwiring Happiness by Rick Hanson. And I'm going to put it up right here. There we go. I'll pull it back so you guys can see it. Hardwiring for Happiness. Okay, Rick Hanson. Now I have to put on my reading glasses. Rick Hanson is an acclaimed neuropsychologist, shows that what you can do to override the brain's default of being a pessimist. Okay, Hardwiring Happiness lays out simple methods that uses the hidden powers of everyday experiences to build new neural structures full of happiness, love, confidence, and peace. This is what we can do. In the small picture, I can't change the news of today, but in the big picture, I can learn something new to change how I think every day, not just today, every day. If we can teach ourselves how to not go into anxiety and worry while this is going on. Now, we can be educated and we can be concerned, but we don't want to go into that fight, flight, freeze response that causes the chronic stress that brings down the immune system. But if we can learn how to do it today, wouldn't it be wonderful? Because then what we can obviously do is take that new pathway in our brain and use it for the rest of our lives. And this is what we need to teach our children. Now, in the book, I love this section of this book, okay? This is in chapter 2, and he says, in general, the brain has, let me get back to this page. This is what I want to read. Okay. Our ancestors could make up two kinds of mistakes. One, thinking that there's a tiger in the bushes when there wasn't one. So that would be a mistake, always thinking there's a tiger about to eat you and there isn't one. Or two, thinking there was no tiger in the bushes when there actually was one. That's a big problem. If you don't think there's a tiger and there is, then you get eaten, right? The cost of the first mistake was needless anxiety, while the cost of the second was death. Consequently, we evolved to make the first mistake 1,000 times to avoid making the second. Our ancestors that made the second mistake didn't get to reproduce, but the ones that were worried that the tiger was in the bush and there wasn't one, but they kept doing it, but then they didn't get eaten by tigers, they're the ones who got to reproduce. So that means through evolution, through our ancestors, the ones that had the anxiety, that were always in this conscious state of fear coming through, making sure they don't get eaten, they got to reproduce and then they had children. So then they, in their DNA and their evolution, they carried it on, but then they also trained their children to be that way. Do you see? This is part of our ancestry. This is part of the brain. It's so important for you to realize that. So in general, our default setting of the brain is to overestimate threats. That's our default. That's just where we go, to overestimate threats and underestimate opportunities. The underestimating resources, both for coping with threats and fulfilling opportunities. Our brain wants to stay in the fight, flight, freeze response. That's why when something comes in, no matter who you are, unless you've trained your brain to do something different, you get very anxious and you get very upset. So what we want to be able to do is not always be on that, because then we not overestimate not only the unknown and the fears, but we underestimate the opportunities. And this is why people can point out problems and they don't give you solutions. Does anyone know anyone out there that just points out all the problems in the world or in their environment or in you, or in the day or in the government or whatever? They just point out, but they don't point out solutions, because that's the brain's default mode, to point out the problems, to run away and complain, but not necessarily to open up ourselves to be able to see the opportunities. So in every situation, there's an opportunity to grow. If it isn't, like the tiger's there and the tiger eats you, there's no opportunity. You're dead. That's just it. But if you're still alive, I want you to get this. There is an opportunity for us to learn something new. And this is where our power is. So we can't get stuck, right? Like we were talking about before, in the fear of the tiger in the bush. Yes, there could be a tiger in the bush, but can we pull it back out and say, now what are we going to do about that? Instead of being in anxiety mode, what resources can I have to deal with that instead of always be running around in this mode? And then that's where you get creative. And this creative mind is the mind of power. First, you get curiosity, and from curiosity, you go to being creative. This is how you tackle fear. It's not that you deny that the tiger could be there, because then you might be eaten, but it's how can you be curious to deal with it and then come creative. So for the tiger situation, what happens if we said, well, what I'm going to do is build a platform higher than the bushes. So then I can see out. Instead of from the flat ground, I can only see maybe a couple 100 yards or even 2 yards until the next bush. If I build a platform in my tree so I can see the bigger picture, and then I can see that maybe the tigers are like way over with the antelope, dealing with that, meaning I know I don't have a tiger around here. I can come back out of my tree and then do my hunting with safety and be thinking how to catch my rabbit. Now, I know that you're like, wow, are we really fighting in the bush? Lindsay, you're teaching me how to get my antelope and not get eaten by my tiger. That's what we have to do. We have to get curious. This is how we reduce our stress. Get curious. So I did this. Now in California, they're really talking about everyone wearing a face covering. Well, we knew that was smart because we've been talking about that now for a couple weeks. It only makes sense. Why did I need other people to tell me that I need to do that? I already knew that. If I wore a face covering and if I was sick, then I wouldn't give it to my mother-in-law and I wouldn't give it to my son, who then wouldn't give it to someone else. It's not that I think that I'm sick, but that makes sense. So curious, what can I do to help? And then we got into being creative, and that's when we came up with all the different ways to make face masks last week. Now, let me tell you, there's great things all over the internet, so please go and read from the experts how to make these face coverings. But the bottom line is we were already curious, and then we were already becoming creative. So people are catching up to us because we weren't living in that fear, right? So now here's the next one. People are saying, Lindsay, my hands, I'd feel better if I wasn't touching knobs and stuff when I have to go to the grocery store. What do? I can't find the gloves, and I don't want to wear my big dishwashing gloves, which you could do. You could do. So I went into the 99-cent store, and look what I found. What is that? This is a little bone. Can you see how it looks like a bone? And these are doggy poop bags. And I think I talked about this, but you can put this in your purse. And then when you go to a situation and you realize, man, I really don't want to touch this right now. So what am I going to do? Then you can grab one of your doggy bags out, see? And there you go. You can open the door, you can get your cart. Now, let's say you get to the grocery store, because I was telling my son, he goes, Mom, I don't have any more gloves. I'm going to the grocery store. I really want to have something on my hand. What do I do? That's easy. That's easy. Go to the grocery store. Don't touch anything, right? So you can take a paper towel and put it on your cart if you want to. Our grocery stores actually have paper towels for us, but go on in, go to the fruit stand where the fruit is. And what do they have? They have these exact same kind of bags to put our fruit in. Just grab one and there you go. You have it throughout it. Now, I know it's not great for the environment. Remember also when you're done to come in and turn it inside out and throw it away. But it is a way of being creative. And when your mind is creative, it is not in fear. It is not in fear. So the book here, Hardwiring for Happiness, one thing that I really like about it is it's a book that's talking about not necessarily getting rid of fear. It's about hardwiring for happiness. So it's on the optimistic side. It's, the half full side of looking at things. And one thing it talks about when we're reprogramming our brain with neuroplasticity is that we're able to do this by making sure we're programming what we want instead of programming what we don't want. So we don't want to program more fear and more worry. We want to program that curious and that creative mind. We want to program what it feels like to feel good. And so it goes in here and it says, when you're feeling bad, your brain is going to go right to feeling bad. It's going to point out your knee hurts and the news is bad and all that kind of stuff. So what you have to learn how to do is say, notice it. Actually face it, which is really the stress shifter shifting in our online class, which I highly recommend. Face it. Face that I'm worried and upset. And then you focus, okay, and then you get freeing and you shift to what you do want. And so what Rick Hansen talks about is centering on something that feels good. If your left shoulder feels bad, I got that. Breathe in, accept it. Don't focus hard on it. And then allow yourself to go ahead and focus on your shoulder that feels good. Let's breathe in. Can you name a part of your body? Hey, Kevin, can you name a part of your body that feels really good right now? So now when I said that, it's probably something like popped up, like my neck doesn't feel good. And my brain wants to go, but wait, your neck doesn't feel good. So I want you to come back and I realize this shoulder in me feels really good. And I can sit here and I can feel it. Hey, my shoulder feels good. My arm feels good. And start getting your body identifying things that feel good and really feel good. And then realize if these feel good, then a part of me feels good. And if a lot of me feels good, then maybe what it is just I have one finger that hurts or I have a headache that hurts, but my stomach and my digestion is doing fine. And you want to start focusing and programming. And what that does is relaxes you and it empowers you to have control of your environment right now. You can also focus on right now what in your environment is really good. Well, I want you to know it rained last night, and that is really good in California. And we went for a walk, and everything is clean, and the birds are completely chirping. And back to my shirt. My shirt feels good. My Lindsay plaid shirt feels good. It feels good to be here. And then you keep keeping yourself centered on that. And when you do that, you're rewiring your brain to allow yourself to be more focused on what you want, more curious on what you want, and more creative what you want, which dispels the fear and it empowers you. It empowers you to live a more centered, happy, healthier life. I have some really good news for everybody out there since we're coming to an end. I am not going to be doing Facebook Lives on Stress Shifter because Stress Shifter let me get this off my phone so I can show you. The YMCA has asked me to be doing classes. So I'm going to be doing classes for the YMCA on Mondays and Wednesdays at 11 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And it's through their website. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to put up links, but you just click onto the link of that website and it'll take you right to the class. And it's going to be a class. This way I can show videos. I can actually take questions. If you want me to see your face, I can see your face and you can see mine. It's going to be much more interactive. It's going to be a half an hour. These have been the ones I've been doing with you guys have been 20 minutes. It'll be similar to these, but then we're going to actually do a meditation at the end. So this is very exciting and anybody can come to the YMCA. I'll show you. You don't have to be a member. It's completely free. It's online and they have other wonderful classes like chair yoga and stretching. They have classes for little kids like hip hop and exercise, and for adults, they even have acting classes, all free through the YMCA. So I'm going to hold up my phone right now, which is going to show you, it's the Southeastern Ventura County YMCA, which covers really a huge part of outside of LA County. Is putting it on, but it's for everybody. It's not just for the YMCA in this area. So this is my phone. Let's see if I can get it to look. Oh, I can't. Not so much. It didn't work out too well. Anyway, that's okay. I'm going to post it here. Do me a favor. I want you to know every single day I'm going to be putting a stress shifter transformational reminder, which is something very positive that we can do every day on the stress shifter page. Please continue liking it and seeing all the resources. Please keep visiting the stressshifter.com website. We have a free app, we have an online class, we have a free stress shifter quiz. Remember, go to our YouTube channel at Stress Shifter and come and visit me at the YMCA. Like I said, I'll post it more here on how to get to the classes for the YMCA, all free and all welcome to everyone. Everyone find their favorite comfortable shirt or their old stuffed animal woofie, make themselves smile, keep being curious and creative, and we will get through this with more compassion and kindness. Love to all. Bye-bye, everyone.